There's 3 out here.
Hey, I
don't know why this is. I don't want this.
This is our block. Get the f. This is your block? Yeah, mother.
Man, that's language.
On September 7th, while filming a video showing the illegal counterfeiting markets by illegal migrants in New York City on Canal Street, I
don't know why this is. I don't want this.
Selling a substance for on the street, and after being cussed out and my cameraman punched, we left the block and never came back. Well, it turns out this group of migrants were wanted by ICE and were targeted in a raid that erupted in the streets of New York City. And after the next day, the streets were completely clean of illegal activity, and I thought the chaos was over. However, I came back to New York City a few weeks later, and while walking through the area, the migrants noticed me, and all hell broke out.
Scammers just recognized.
Not supporting TikTok. Chinese crap. I'm not gonna have that on my phone. Because I don't have that on my phone. I don't want that crap in my videos. Hello. Now we're gonna play all. That thing better not be there.
Got a guinea pig waiting, so get in the game.
So that's gonna drive me nuts.
How much?
Okay, now.
Yo, what's up? We don't do no fucking camera.
Why is it doing it there? I don't need it.
This is our block. Get the f. This is your block? Yeah, mother.
On September 7th, while filming a video showing the illegal counterfeiting markets by illegal migrants in New York City on Canal Street, I attempted to ask how much they were selling a substance for on the street, and after being cussed out and my cameraman punched, we left the block and never came back. Well, it turns out this group of migrants were wanted by ICE and were targeted in a raid that erupted in the streets of New York City, and after the next day, the streets were completely clean of illegal activity, and I a few weeks later, and while walking through the area, the migrants noticed me, and all hell broke out.
Scammers just recognized me.
So you can't be illegally vending though, alright? It's not. You never see me vending? I'm just.
I don't sell. You're saying you don't sell? Are you kidding me? Look at all your friends out here. They're all sellers.
Who tell you? I didn't know that.
You know.
He's lying. He's lying.
I ain't lying. I ain't lying. I ain't lying. Look at all those bags and stuff. Look at all those bags. Look. You're the scammer. Why are you telling me to get that side of here? These aren't your streets?
Yeah, just America, man. We all America.
You're not okay. Okay.
You from Europe. You from Europe. You're a racist. That's
how am I racist?
You are racist. Why you racist, bro?
How am I racist?
You're not racist. You guys just doing illegally vending. You're not a racist. What is wrong is wrong. What is right is right.
And while the scammers and I were going back and forth, a local who lives in the area came
by. Look, now she's telling me thank you. Thank you. God bless you, man. We don't like scammers, do
No, I live in this neighborhood. I'm sick of these guys. They make the neighborhood garbage. They sell drugs. They sell illegal merchandise. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you, man.
Thank you.
Chaos here on Canal Street. The scammers don't even respect the police.
And then all the scammers got mad at me for recording.
Just like you're recording him.
If you're gonna record me, I can record you.
So what you're
he was recording
okay,
me,
but what he's doing is not okay. Is that what you're saying? That's what you're implying.
Do you see me recording?
But he's recording me. You want him?
No, other people. Then don't get mad at me.
Huh?
Then don't get mad at me.
I'm not mad at you because you come here, you accuse us like.
Selling counterfeit goods? Is that a real proof? That's not real.
You guys, so what?
Guys,
so what?
Just like you guys can record us, you can record you guys. Like
about recording.
Look, you're getting at me recording. Look at all these cameras. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Show your face. See how they treat the police? They don't even care about NYPD here on these streets. Meanwhile, they're getting mad at me. I was literally walking back to where I'm going for tonight, and I had to walk through Canal Street, and that happened. Because they saw the video where obviously 9 of their buddies. See, now that he recognized me, this is a dangerous street for me to walk on here in Canal Street. That is no longer their block. I'm going to take it down. You heard it here first.
And as I prepare to go back to Canal Street and take back the street, I want to show you the big contrast between people that support the law and other people whose empathy does not allow them to support the law, just like this lady here.
My husband showed me a clip of that kid, Nick Shirley, going around Canal Street antagonizing the men who are trying to just like, you know, sell us some shit there. Wow. And you guys think I need to get a life? What a fucking loser.
Shut up!
And as people want to turn a blind eye to this illegal activity and act like it's inhumane to have law and order on the streets, I wanted to see how these people would treat a woman if they saw her on her phone on Canal Street. So I sent out my mom onto Canal and said, act like you're on a FaceTime call and see what happens.
There's so much stuff here. No camera. What am I filming? I just want to buy some presents for my daughters. I don't know which one to get. There's too much stuff here.
Yeah, but ma'am, both of you out here.
Don't go there.
Do that if I was you.
Yeah, I don't want you to get in trouble. You're gonna get in trouble.
I'm gonna get in trouble?
Yeah.
Okay.
And after having proof that it was not safe for women to be walking on Canal Street with the camera, I headed there myself to confront the scammers and see what they would do if they saw me. But really quick, I've never done this before, but we're gonna do a sponsor right now. And the sponsor of this video, actually the fastest AI growth tool for creators and businesses. Over 10 million creators and businesses have started using them, and they've helped gain over 60 billion views. In fact, I actually had a buddy start using Opus Clip. He has just around 100 followers, and he's already had a video get above 30,000 views. That's how good Opus Clip is. And recently, Opus just came out with their AI Editor 3.0 that comes with smarter auto framing, better virality scoring, and new captions. And my favorite thing about Opus is how easy they make it to reformat your content for all different platforms, whether it's TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, YouTube, you name it, you can use Opus Clip. And right now, for you guys watching, they're gonna hook you guys up with a sweet deal. You'll get 1 week free and 3 months at 50% off. All you have to do is use code Nick Shirley and go to the pinned comment down below or the link in the description. I promise you guys, Opus is a game changer. And now let's get into the streets of Canal. Did you guys just buy some goods? What did you guys get today? Or is this a seller right here? Oh, Louis Vuitton. There's the dealer right there.
Oh boy, buffering, come on.
There's one of the Asian dealers. So you have the Asian dealers right here. They have all of the stuff right here. They have the whole entire catalog right here. What are you going to buy today? No yet. What's your favorite thing to buy here from
Man, why is an extra really bad?
Canal Street?
I haven't been here in about.
Whoa, watch that. We're down to aggression here.
Don't try looking for somebody, man.
What's that?
Scammers.
What's up? How you doing?
Me, man.
What's wrong with the camera?
What's the camera for me, man?
What's wrong with the
We got
camera?
a camera to film whatever we want.
All right, we've made it now to Canal Street. We already got the people out. Pissed off, and then right here you have
What's that?
the African sellers as well. What's wrong? What's wrong?
You're not going to yell us off this block. We're residents here. We are openly filming this. No one's
man, no.
We're filming. We're filming. This is open. This is
All right, we have now made it here to Canal Street. Sweeney, you're local here. Is this normal?
This is local public property. You are entitled to film anywhere on public property. No one has a privacy right over anything.
What do you guys think about Canal Street and the scammers and now the counterfeit selling that's at rampant levels right now?
Yeah, it's a lot more than there used to be here, so it's a good amount.
Oh, what are you doing?
Now we just got pushed out by one of the counterfeit sellers. Thank you, sir.
Look at that, a resident, just like that, just getting pushed out by somebody. Aggressively pushed and shoved with his elbow.
Now this is the main Canal Street. We're just on the corner of Canal and Lafayette.
Look it up.
And look, they're all running right now. We ourselves, my presence has cleared this whole entire block right now. We got all these guys. I'm just walking through here, and all these guys are clearing out because of my presence of the camera. Why do you think just my presence alone with the camera is scaring these guys off right now?
If they're not breaking the law and there is no criminality, why are they bagging up their goods as soon as we walk with a camera, not starting anything, not being hostile, and fleeing the entire block? I can't stand folks, especially people from out of state, saying, oh, they're just peaceful, they're not breaking the law, they're not breaking any laws. Or if they are not breaking the law, why does a simple camera from one person clear out 40, 60-yard Bo Jackson dashes simply because you're coming out here and filming the street? That is very clearly, evidently criminal activity.
So these guys all packed up, and now they're going to their next location. They still got their Rolexes out,
with the AirPods, but literally just my presence with this camera cleared out the whole entire block right here. Now they're just facing the wall. They don't want their faces to be seen right now. Look, these guys right here too. Now they put their hands up. Don't want to be seen. And a camera's not criminal, right? We can be filming here on the streets. I don't know if I can disclose this, but you're a lawyer. You're an attorney.
I'm an attorney.
Can we be filming on the streets?
Public property. This is, no one has a privacy right over any inch of this. You guys can film me. I can film you. This is a sidewalk in New York City that hardworking, tax-paying residents contribute to.
Look, we cleared this whole entire block right here.
Day by day. Overtaken.
This is the continuation of Canal. We're just one block into it from Lafayette. Now we're at almost Canal and Broadway. But look at this. All of this stuff right here.
There used to be one stretch that lasted like a single block, and it was peaceful, mostly Asian Americans selling goods. They kept out of folks' way. They were happy. They were nice to people walking by, women with their strollers. Nowadays, I had someone send me a message that she was walking with her 9-year-old son, and they offered him drugs right in her presence. 2 days ago, I'm walking with 2 girls. Someone said they'd slash my face simply for holding a camera. Living here for years. Other people have been living here for decades. Ask them. ICE came here for one day, for one single day, 24 hours. This place.
And buttering.
Dogs with their children having a coffee. ICE left. Zorn was elected. Block by block has now spread, and it is taking over entire zip codes. If ICE comes, they're gone.
What's worrying is the
buttering bad. I can't.
Plain fact that this is no law and order is taking place here on Canal Street.
There's a difference between hustling, right, and trying to make a money, and then breaking the law. Okay, pimps. Things of that nature are law-breaking and are also hustles.
Entire block. We were around on the other block, and now this is another block completely filled with these stuff. Look, you can get Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci, everything. And they're obviously all counterfeit goods. And as soon as they see the camera, they're all stuck in their face. Look, all the scammers have their faces
all fake
down right now, or they're facing the other way. And now they're putting all this stuff away. And this open-air market of fake counterfeit goods goes on for blocks. We've been from Lafayette to Canal. Now we're on Broadway and Canal. Now we're going over to the...
Man, this connection is terrible on here. I got a connection on my own internet.
Other side. And look, it goes not even down all the way more down Broadway. You have more blocks. This is the biggest counterfeit open-air market, scam market, whatever you want to call it, opener in America. And look, now these guys are filming us. What they're going to do is they're going to film us, put us in their WhatsApp group chat. You guys saw as soon as I pulled up on the block, they freaked out because they obviously knew who I am because my video potentially led to some
Why is it buttering?
So the Canal Street vendors are on both sides of the street, from that side to that side, and then all the way down there as well. They're everywhere here. And look, they just litter the streets. And they saw the camera, so they moved off this block. And it just keeps going down and down. A lot of people are just going to start leaving New York City if law and order is not upheld.
They're paying enough in taxes. New York City is one of the highest taxed cities known to planet Earth right now, has city, state, and federal taxes. And so there's already begun a mass exodus of folks who are sick of this shit because they're getting no bang for buck out of their dollar of taxes. So they're moving to Florida, where it has a lesser tax burden and has the enforcement of law and order. How does that help our tax basis for different projects that Zorn wants to do?
How much? No price? Free today? Everything free? He won't give me a price. Is it free today? No price. How much are the bags today? How much? They won't even answer me. Maybe I should start grabbing for free. How are you? How much for bag? What do we...
Why is it buttering? I'm using my own connection. It says I have strong internet connection. I mean...
out here on Canal.
I bought me a little Louis bag. Y'all man.
They're clearing out right now. They're clearing out. They're clearing out. Just my presence alone here on the street is clearing out the block right now. They're yelling all sorts of stuff in French. How much? How much? Wallet, how much? No one will give me a quote with the camera. And how much are you making out here?
About like 700.
Is something on it? It's called an addition. No. Oh, that's why I made it, because that's. Why is this one on? But it's about them bad today. Oh, it has to be on straight. Right, come on. Wait, why is that? No. Why is it doing this now? Oh, I don't need this one. We're trying to see what's going on, everybody here. I don't get why it's... There's no reason to be both right now. No reason. My connection is very strong right now. So... And my connection is connected to my own wife, my own freaking tower. That's why, because this here freaking... I see why it's doing that. It didn't ask to be. Why is it doing that? Let's see, okay, let's see, no, it's talking. Now I can stare at a wall for a second. I gotta see why. Just couldn't. Why is it doing that? The only person should be connected is here. Okay, so it's that. Okay, that's 6 down. It says I'm connected. Try from tower. Back to here. Alright, let's try this again. This here, why is it none?
The radio mode up.
Why is it doing this? I don't get it. Okay. So that's off there. Okay, go back here. Just hold on, everybody. I don't know why. This is a new phone, so. Okay. Nope. Don't need that. Okay,
You get. Now imagine being a woman walking through here with your camera on, you want to take some pictures as a tourist.
And people might say, well, what happens to all the other women? My mom literally came down here, acted like she was on a FaceTime call, showing my sister what kind of products they had. And they said she was going to be in trouble for walking on these streets and filming. And right here on this block is where the deportations took place of 9 illegal migrants that were selling goods here on the street, and they were arrested, and there was a targeted arrest, and the man had been charged and convicted prior for assault, recklessly endangering, counterfeiting third degree, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, criminal sale of narcotics, possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana for sale, making false reports to law enforcement, and resisting arrest. So all these people here are not perfect law-abiding citizens here in the United States, and the deportation that took place were because of crimes like that. And right now, it looks like we have the police coming through right now. Let's see what happens. All right, they're already freaking out on us right now. We can film? No?
want to feel bad. It's America.
This is the place where Isaiah got punched and this jumped. How do you feel to see what's going on here and now everything's back up?
It's a shame. It's a real shame. There's really no words. No words.
And to see this place where you were once jumped, just to come back with all the people right back here, does that make you feel like you're being protected here in New York City?
No, absolutely not. It does rile the nerves a little bit being out here. You know, we're not being confrontational. We're not being aggressive to anyone. We're trying to ask questions if anything, but people will always have it. People will be sensitive.
What?
People will be sensitive.
No. You legal?
Right now the people here illegal. I'm from here.
We're not checking documentation. The deportations that took place here were some of the people out here on this block.
Exactly.
What do you think about the deportations that happened?
You can deport the criminal people, you know.
Yep.
But here, you think the black guy here, a lot of people, they're illegal people, you know. You don't do crime, they sell on the street bags, that's it.
So are you
don't need to fight it today, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and what do you guys think about ICE?
They work. They have to work.
So you're in support of ICE coming through here?
I support it. They take it criminal people. You know.
And you're not...
Big time respect.
But don't put it to me, TikTok, Nikki. We love you.
He's saying he likes
sorry
me.
for last time my boy fighting, you know.
And what do you think about when my cameraman got jumped here on this corner?
I think you finally do your work. I like what he did.
Thank you. And so you supported that deportation?
I support everything you do. It's your country. You have to do for everyone. Just sorry to disrespect you last time, my boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Nick, we love you.
And did he get deported?
I don't know. I think that jab. I don't know.
You haven't heard anything back from him?
That's what
Hello there, DD. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm married white girl.
Never pay for Wi-Fi again. Every day you struggle for Wi-Fi, someone else is already connected for free, while you're wasting time searching for networks or paying extra for data.
That's why people, I know them only.
I don't get why this is keep coming on there. I don't need it.
So over the past few days, I've been acquiring some goods from these.
And all these ones pop up.
To go set up my own shop on Canal and see what they do and see whose block it really is. If I get chased off the block, then it is therefore their block. But if they get ran off the block,
I don't get why it's in this. I don't need
the
it.
block of American citizens. It's your block. Now it's time to go reclaim and take back the block. We're gonna go set up shop. We're gonna see what happens here on Canal Street. All right, setting up shop. You guys are leaving? Wait, what? We're selling too. They're leaving. You guys want some? We're giving stuff away for free.
I don't get
Free stuff from Canal. We just cleared one corner.
never had
We're gonna go
this
see what happens on this next corner. Block.
Stupid crap.
They want to come up and take block by block of selling illegal contraband. What is stopping an American citizen and a tax-paying resident from coming in here and setting up shop ourselves? Who's serious?
We got our own right here. We're setting up shop.
Bro, when you come out here, you start trouble, bro.
I ain't starting no trouble.
Yeah, man.
I'm working on this block just like you.
Yo, don't put that camera.
I'm working on the block just like you.
Yo, bro, on some G, you be on some bullshit, bro.
I'm on the same block as you guys.
I'm not feeling that. Don't come out here with that shit, man.
We're setting up shop too.
Go ahead, bro. What do I know about?
You want some stuff? You want it?
Bro. Go ahead, bro.
What are you doing? He says he's got something for me. Can we set up shop right here? Why not? You guys want some free stuff?
Hell yeah, what do you got?
Alright, so today we're out here selling on Canal. You can pick whatever you want. It's free today. See, now they're moving.
I'm not dumb. Trust me, I'm not dumb.
Why can't we set up shop? But you guys can.
I'm not playing with you, bro.
I ain't playing either. Alright, they're gone too. Let's see if we can set up shop right here. We got a whole shop right here. Let's see what happens if I set up shop on their block. Can I sell right here? Can I sell right here? I got my block. See? Look at that.
Up out of here, bro.
Why can't I sell here?
Get that shit up out of here, bro.
Why can't I sell here?
Stop playing with me, man. I'm not dumb, bro.
We don't take
I'm not dumb.
like that. I know my rights for self-defense. I know my rights for self-defense.
Look, we're clearing the block. We have just cleared the block right here. I ain't doing nothing. I'm not here. I'm not hostile. We're seeing what happens if we bring our stuff here. We're seeing what happens if we bring our stuff here.
Yo, my nigga, yo, my nigga.
I catch any of my y'all and my face on y'all YouTube, I'm suing y'all straight up.
Sue for what? Sue, we're on the street.
My face come up on y'all YouTube, I'm suing y'all.
Then you better move. Then you better move.
I'm suing y'all.
Look, we just cleared the whole block. Hey, not my Louis, come on. Alright, so we just cleared 2 blocks at this point now. The scammers are gone.
You said 3. Alright. Money, there's no money involved.
Let's pick up and let's move around. It's now clean and clear. So now we got this guy coming after us. He's the one following us. He's saying, get off, we're moving. We just cleared that block.
Alright, yo, bro, I'm on your ass all day.
Man, bro, gonna fall all day.
Pick up my block right now, so go ahead, bro.
This is not your block. We just moved out the whole block. And what if I wanted to give you a Gucci bag? Would you take it? I got some free ones right here. I'm giving stuff away for free, sir. You want a Gucci bag or no? You don't want it? It's for free today.
Get up out of here, bro.
It's for free today.
Get up out of here. Get up out of here. Get up out of here.
This is your problem.
Get up out of here.
How you doing, sir?
Get up out of here.
How's your day going? Nice to meet you, sir.
Get the fuck up out of here, bro.
We ain't trying to no problem.
Get up out of here. No, get the fuck up out of here.
People can film on the street.
Get out of here, nigga.
People can film here on the street.
No, alright. Y'all still gotta keep it moving out of here.
We ain't bothering nobody.
We're not.
I don't want to do that.
Every time you come out here, it's a problem, bro.
Look, we got the police right here. Show the police. We got the police right here. What do you think? This guy's telling me I gotta get off this block.
Nah, you can stay here the same way you can stay here. Listen up, it's my business. It's my business, man. If he could be here, you could be here.
Get the fuck up out of here. Get the step out of here.
Step off, fish. There's no water here.
You're the one starting the problem. Who started? You're the one who started following me. You're the one who started following me.
Calm down, Dave.
I didn't start a problem. And I want to make a point. I'm not angry at these people. I don't have anything against any of these individuals per se. But the thing is that law and order is not being upheld here in the streets as far as the counterfeit goods selling. It's just a gateway to other things. He's even gotten personal messages from mothers who's had people as young as 9 years old been offered drugs. So by not holding these people up to the crime as such as just counterfeit selling, it's just a gateway into other things happening here inside New York City.
100%. We're not going to get pressed off of city blocks that belong to every New York City resident, regardless of the race, gender, ethnicity. What do you mean? If you want to talk to me, I'll have a conversation with you.
Keep yapping at us over here.
We're not trying to do nothing.
How? What do you think about the counterfeit selling and everything that takes place on campus?
People are trying to make a living.
So you don't care that just law and order is not being upheld?
What is law and order?
Law and order? That's a great question. What do you think law and order is?
I'm asking you, though. What do you think that is?
The laws of the land being upheld here in the United States.
So what kind of
pick up her damn ass.
Every single law.
Well, so
the law to, like, kidnap people for making a living?
If they came to the country illegally and ICE finds out that they're illegal, they have the right to deport them. It's not a right to be here in the United States. It's a privilege.
Interesting. So how do you feel about your privilege being born into this?
Yeah, I'm very lucky.
Yeah, so how about your ancestors who came here and stole land from indigenous people? How do we feel about that?
There's actually a conquered war, and then they bought it.
ICE is kidnapping people?
Kidnapping? Define kidnapping.
They're taking them off their street. They haven't done anything wrong. They came here to make a living because their countries are unlivable because of the U.S. imperialism that is happening in their country, stealing their resources, their land, their gas.
What do you mean?
What are you doing here?
I want to address that piecemeal, right? You said they're kidnapping folks.
Yes, they're taking them. You don't even know that.
These guys cross the border. Ask any of them.
Who cares about the fucking border? You guys cross the border all the time traveling.
With the visa, legally.
Legally. Again, the definition.
It's not a quotation. If you ask me what law and order is, legally is not a quotation that we throw around and put on Hallmark cards.
I'm
sorry, it's not.
The law.
Yes.
Somebody gets to define the law, and it's never the people who get affected by that law.
That's a complete lie. We live in a democracy. The only law is that.
We don't live in a democracy.
What do we live in?
Trump is in a fascist American
Trump
machine.
won the both popular and electoral vote. That is the definition.
Win the popular vote. The electoral.
He won the popular and electoral vote.
The quarter of the country votes for him, and half the country doesn't vote. Is that a democracy? What do you think a democracy is?
every person that had the opportunity to vote, that was not taken away from them, voted for Trump.
What do you think about the counterfeit deal and stuff that happens here in Canal Street?
I don't like it. I like clear sidewalks. It's my neighborhood, so yeah.
Yeah, so people are like, this is a good tourist destination. They can come here, they can buy the fake Gucci and whatnot. But the citizens that paid New York City taxes and care for their city and have to come through here every single day, what's it like for you?
Well, yeah, it's annoying. I never use the Canal Street station, so it's like a whole major station that I generally avoid. And yeah, it's like a lot of tourists also coming in, crowding the streets, buying stuff, and making there be an incentive, a demand for my neighborhood to be worse. So. In some situations, they're paying off like human smugglers that got them over here in the first place. So essentially, we're making like slave masters richer because the money just goes back to whoever's in control. That's something I heard about like DoorDashers and stuff.
Yeah. So it's super sad because a lot of these people, they're able, capable people from Africa. The majority of them are. They crossed over the border illegally. They came here. They didn't get any documentation. They couldn't get a working visa. So now they're out here selling stuff illegally. So it also highlights the fact that our immigration process here is messed up, and that's the effects of what happens when you do have open immigration. But the fact that law and order is not being upheld here in the streets, and people like you can't even use the subway station because you don't feel safe coming down here, is just the point of this. We're not going after these people.
Than unsafe, I don't feel like I'm physically like under any violent threat, but it's annoying. It's like I watch kids, and when we're walking on the sidewalk, I say we share the sidewalk. If there's an abuse of the commons and we can't share it anymore because people are diminishing its value because they don't feel a sense of ownership over it, then it's just not going to work. New York relies on social harmony more than any other place in the U.S., so yeah, that's important.
If you're going to be honest about what's going on, it's illegal activity, and that's the truth.
We have successfully cleared out a few blocks here in Canal Street just with our presence, put in our bags. We weren't selling, we were giving away for free. And this is Sweeney right here. If you guys want to follow him, it's on Instagram. I'll leave his @ in the description. And if you guys want to see part 1 of this video, that was the finale. We're never coming back. So that part 1 is right here.
Okay. Bro. Block. I like this one too. This is a really good one. He ain't playing around, y'all.
Okay, thank you very much. This is big stuff. We appreciate you being here. Late last night and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. Overwhelming American military power, air, land, and sea, was used to launch a spectacular assault. And it was an assault like people have not seen since World War II. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice. This was one of the most stunning, effective, and powerful displays of American military might and competence in American history. And if you think about it, we've done some other good ones like the attack on Soleimani, the attack on al-Baghdadi, and the obliteration and decimation just recently in an operation known as Midnight Hammer, all perfectly executed and done. No nation in the world could achieve what America achieved yesterday, or frankly in just a short period of time. All Venezuelan military capacities were rendered powerless as the men and women of our military, working with U.S. law enforcement, successfully captured Maduro in the dead of night. It was dark. The lights of Caracas were largely turned off. due to a certain expertise that we have. It was dark and it was deadly. But captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York, Jay Clayton, for their campaign of deadly narco-terrorism against the United States and its citizens. I want to thank the men and women of our military who achieved such an extraordinary success overnight with breathtaking speed, power, precision, and competence. You rarely see anything like it. You've seen some raids in this country that didn't go so well. They were an embarrassment. If you look back to Afghanistan, or if you look back to the Jimmy Carter days, they were different days. We're a respected country again, like never before. These highly trained warriors operating in collaboration with U.S. law enforcement caught them in a very ready position. They were waiting for us. They knew we had many ships out in the sea, just sort of waiting. They knew we were coming. So they were in a ready, what's called a ready position. But they were completely overwhelmed and very quickly incapacitated. If you would have seen what I saw last night, you would have been very impressed. I'm not sure that you'll ever get to see it, but it was an incredible thing to see. Not a single American service member was killed, and not a single piece of American equipment was lost. We had many helicopters, many planes, many people involved in that fight. But think of that, not one piece of military equipment was lost, not one service member was, more importantly, killed. The United States military is the strongest and most fearsome military on the planet by far. With capabilities and skills our enemies can equipment anywhere in the world. There's no equipment like what we have, and you see that even if you just look at the boats. You know, we've knocked out 97% of the drugs coming in by sea. 90%. Each boat kills on average 25,000 people. We knocked out 97%. And those drugs mostly come from a place called Venezuela. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. And it has to be judicious because that's what we're all about. We want peace, liberty, and justice for the great people of Venezuela, and that includes many from Venezuela that are now living in the United States and want to go back to their country. It's their homeland. We can't take a chance that somebody else takes over Venezuela that doesn't have the good of the Venezuelan people in mind. We've had decades of that. We're not going to let that happen. We're there now, and what people don't understand, but they understand as I say this, we're there now, but we're going to stay until such time as the proper transition can take place. So we're going to stay until such time as, we're going to run it essentially until such time as a proper transition can take place. As everyone knows, the oil business in Venezuela has been a bust, a total bust, for a long period of time. They were pumping almost nothing by comparison to what they could have been pumping and what could have taken place.
Yes, all right.
Place. We're going to have our very large United States oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, go in, spend billions of dollars, fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil infrastructure, and start making money for the country. And we are ready to stage a second and much larger attack if we need to do so. So we were prepared to do a second wave if we needed to do so. We actually assumed that a second wave would be necessary, but now it's probably not. The first wave, if you'd like to call it that, the first attack was so successful, we probably don't have to do a second, but we're prepared to do a second wave, a much point, but we have a much bigger wave that probably won't have to do. This partnership of Venezuela with the United States of America, a country that everybody wants, what we were able to do and accomplish will make the people of Venezuela rich, independent, and safe. And it will also make the many, many people from Venezuela that are living in the United States extremely happy. They suffered. They suffered. So much was taken from them. They're not going to suffer anymore. The illegitimate dictator Maduro was the kingpin of a vast criminal network responsible for trafficking colossal amounts of deadly and illicit drugs into the United States. As alleged in the indictment, he personally oversaw the vicious cartel known as Cartel de las Solas, which flooded our nation with lethal poison, responsible for the deaths of countless Americans, the many, many Americans, hundreds of thousands over the years of Americans died because of him. Maduro and his wife will soon face the full might of American justice and stand trial on American soil. Right now they're on a ship they'll be heading to, ultimately, New York. And then a decision will be made, I assume, between New York and Miami or Florida. But we have people where the overwhelming evidence of law, and I've seen it. I've seen what we have. It's
what's up?
It's both horrible and breathtaking that something like this could have been allowed to take place. For many years after his term as president of Venezuela expired, Maduro remained in power and waged a ceaseless campaign of violence, terror, and subversion against the United States of America, threatening not only our people, but the stability of the entire region. And you all saw it. In addition to trafficking gigantic amounts of illegal drugs that inflicted untold suffering and human destruction all over the country, all over in particular the United States, Maduro sent savage and murderous gangs, including the bloodthirsty prison gang Tren de Aragua, to terrorize American communities nationwide, and he did indeed. They were in Colorado. They took over apartment complexes. They cut the fingers off people if they called police. They were brutal, but they're not so brutal now. And I just have to congratulate our military, Pete and everybody, and our National Guard, because the job that they've done, whether it's in Washington, D.C., where we have a totally safe city, where it was one of the most unsafe cities anywhere in the world, frankly, and now we have no crime in Washington, D.C. We haven't had a killing. We had the terrorist. A bit of a different kind of a threat, but we haven't had a killing in a long period of time, 6-7 months. We used to have two, on average, two more. The restaurants are opening. Everyone's happy. They're going, they're walking their daughters, they're walking their children, their wives, and walk to restaurants. Restaurants are opening all over Washington, D.C. So I want to thank the National Guard, I want to thank our military, and I want to thank law enforcement. It's been amazing. And they should do it with more cities. We're doing it, as you know, and we're doing it in Memphis, Tennessee right now, and crime is down. We've just sort of started a few weeks ago, but crime is down now 77%. And the governor of Louisiana called, great person, and he wanted us to help him, as you know, in a certain very nice part of...
Check out these thermal winter gloves.
this winter, keep your hands warm with these windproofs. Just look at the grip on them.
Look on the grip on them.
Super nice, super
nice part of Louisiana, and we have done that. It was a rough section, and we have climbed down. I understand it's down to almost nothing already after 2.5 weeks. New Orleans, it's down to almost nothing, and we've only been there for 2.5 weeks. Can't imagine why governors wouldn't want us to help. We also helped, as you know, in Chicago, and crime went down a little bit there. We had no working ability with the governor. The governor was a disaster, and the mayor was a disaster, but it knocked down crime. But we're pulling out of there. When they need us, we'll know. You'll know. You'll be writing about it. And likewise, Los Angeles, where we saved Los Angeles early on, where the head of the police department made a statement that if the federal government didn't come in, we would have lost Los Angeles. That's long after the fires. That's when they had the riots in Los Angeles. We did a great job. Got no credit for it whatsoever, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. We don't need the credit. But we'll be pulling out when they need us. They'll call, or we'll go back if we have to. We'll go back. But we did a great job in various cities. But the place that we're very proud of is Washington, D.C., because it's our nation's capital. We took it from being a crime-ridden mess to being one of the safest cities in the country. But the gangs that they sent raped, tortured, and murdered American women and children. They were in all of the cities I mentioned, Trinidad, Aragua. And they were sent by Maduro to terrorize our people, and now Maduro will never again be able to threaten an American citizen or anybody from Venezuela. There will no longer be threats. For years I've highlighted the stories of those innocent Americans whose lives were so heartlessly robbed by this Venezuelan terrorist organization. Really one of the worst. One of the worst, they say the worst. Americans like 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungary from Houston. Beautiful Jocelyn Nungary, what happened to her? They, as you know, they kidnapped, assaulted, and murdered by Trinidad Aragua animals. They murdered Jocelyn and left her dead under the bridge. There was a bridge that will never be the same to so many people after seeing what happened. As I've said many times, the Maduro regime emptied out their prisons, sent their worst and most violent monsters into the United States to steal American lives. And they came from mental institutions and insane asylums. They came from prisons and jails. The reason I say both, they sound similar. Actually, prisons, a little bit more hostile, a little bit tougher. A mental institution isn't as tough as an insane asylum, but we got them both. They sent from their mental institutions, they sent from their jails, prisons. They were drug dealers, they were drug kingpins, they sent everybody bad into the United States. But no longer, and we have now a border where nobody gets through. In addition, Venezuela unilaterally seized and sold American oil, American assets, and American platforms, costing us billions and billions of dollars. They did this a while ago. Our property was our property. Yep. We built it. And we never had a president that decided to do anything about it. Instead, they fought wars that were 10,000 miles away. We built Venezuela oil industry with American talent, drive, and skill, and the socialist regime stole it from us during those previous administrations, and they stole it through force. This constituted one of the largest thefts of American property in the history of our country. Considered the largest theft of property in the history of our country. Massive oil infrastructure was taken like we were babies, and we didn't do anything about it. I would have done something about it. America will never allow foreign powers to rob our people or drive us back into and out of our own hemisphere. That's what they did. Furthermore, under the now deposed dictator Maduro, Venezuela was increasingly hosting foreign adversaries in our region, and acquiring menacing offensive weapons that could threaten U.S. interests and lives. And they used those weapons last night. Potentially in league with the cartels operating along our border. All of these actions were in gross violation of the core principles of American foreign policy, dating back more than 2 centuries, and not anymore. All the way back, it dated to the Monroe Doctrines. A big deal, but we've superseded it by a lot, by a real lot.
Solitaire for seniors. Large card, no annoying ad. Classic Solitaire.
Did it by a lot, by a real lot. They now call it the Monroe Document. I don't know. It's Monroe Doctrine. We sort of forgot about it. It was very important, but we forgot about it. We don't forget about it anymore. Under our new national security strategy, American dominance in the Western Hemisphere will never be questioned again. Won't happen. So just in concluding, for decades, other administrations have neglected or even contributed to these growing security threats in the Western Hemisphere. Under the Trump administration, we are reasserting American power in a very powerful way in our home region. And our home region is very different than it was just a short while ago. The future will be, and we did this in my first term. We had great dominance in my first term, and we have far greater dominance right now. Everyone's coming back to us. The future will be determined by the ability to protect commerce and territory and resources that are core to national security. These are core to our national security. Just like tariffs are, they make security stronger than ever before. But these are the iron laws that have always determined global power. And we're going to keep it that way. We will secure our borders, we will stop the terrorists, we will crash the cartels, and we will defend our citizens against all threats, foreign and domestic. Other presidents may have lacked the courage or whatever to defend America, but I will never allow terrorists and criminals to operate with impunity against the United States. This extremely successful operation should serve as warning to anyone who would threaten American sovereignty or endanger American lives. Very importantly, the embargo on all Venezuelan oil remains in full effect. The American Armada remains poised in position, and the United States retains all military options until United States demands have been fully met and fully satisfied. All political and military figures in Venezuela should understand what happened to Maduro can happen to them, and it will happen to them if they aren't just fair, even to their people. The dictator and terrorist, Maduro, is finally gone in Venezuela. People are free. They're free again. It's been a long time for them, but they're free. America is a safe, prouder nation this morning because it didn't allow this horrible person and this country that was doing very bad things to us. It didn't allow it to happen. Safer place to be. So I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank General Raisin Kane. He's a fantastic man. I've worked with a lot of generals. I worked with some I didn't like. I worked with some I didn't respect. I worked with some that just weren't good. But this guy is fantastic. I watched last night one of the most precise attacks on sovereignty. I mean, it was an attack for justice. And I'm very proud of him, and I'm very proud of our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, who I'm going to ask to say a few words. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, can you explain how the U.S. will run Venezuela?
Well, thank you, Mr. President. Finally, a commander-in-chief the world respects and the American people deserve. And as the President said, words can barely capture the bravery and the power and the precision of this historic operation. A massive joint military and law enforcement raid flawlessly executed by the greatest Americans our country has to offer. American warriors are second to none, the best in the world and the best of our country. What all of us witnessed last night was sheer guts and grit, gallantry, and glory of the American warrior. I'm simply humbled by such men, and I tip my hat to our chairman, Dan Raisin Kane, and all those Americans who stood watch last night. President Trump has your back. No other country on planet Earth, and it's not even close, could pull this kind of operation off. And no other president has ever shown this kind of leadership, courage, and resolve. The most powerful combination the world has ever seen. As the president said, our adversaries remain on notice. America can project our will anywhere, anytime. The coordination, the stealth, the lethality, the precision, the very long arm of American justice, all on full display in the middle of the night. Nicolas Maduro had his chance, just like Iran had their chance, until they didn't and until he didn't. He effed around and he found out. President Trump is deadly serious about stopping the flow of gangs and violence to our country. Deadly serious about stopping the flow of drugs and poison to our people. Deadly serious about getting back the oil that was stolen from us. And deadly serious about reestablishing American deterrence and dominance in the Western Hemisphere. This is about the safety, security, freedom, and prosperity of the American people. This is strength, and the United States War Department is proud to help deliver it. Welcome to 2026, and under President Trump, America is back. I'd like to welcome now our Chairman Raisin Kane, to give a few more details about the operation. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. President, and good morning. Last night, on the order of the President of the United States and in support of a request from the Department of Justice, as the President said, the United States military conducted an apprehension mission in Caracas, Venezuela, to bring to justice two indicted persons, Nicolas and Cecilia Maduro. This operation, known as Operation Absolute Resolve, was discreet, precise, and conducted during the darkest hours of January 2nd and was the culmination of months of planning and rehearsal, an operation that, frankly, only the United States military could undertake. What I'd like to do this morning is talk to you through some of the preparation and the details without compromising any of our tactics, techniques, and procedures. There is always a chance that we'll be tasked to do this type of mission again. Our interagency work began months ago and built on decades of experience of integrating complex air, ground, space, and maritime operations. While the past 2 decades have honed the skills of our special operations forces, this particular mission required every component of our joint force, with soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Guardians working in unison with our intelligence agency partners and law enforcement teammates in an unprecedented operation. We leveraged our unmatched intelligence capabilities and our years of experience in hunting terrorists. And we could not have done this mission without the incredible work by various intelligence agencies, including the CIA, NSA, and NGA. We watched, we waited, we prepared, we remained patient and professional. This mission was meticulously planned, drawing lessons from decades of missions over the last many years, many missions over these last many years. This was an audacious operation that only the United States could do. It required the utmost of precision and integration within our joint force. And the word integration does not explain the sheer complexity of such a mission. An extraction so precise it involved more than 150 aircraft launching across the Western Hemisphere in close coordination, all coming together in time and place to layer effects for a single purpose: to get an interdiction force into downtown Caracas while maintaining the element of tactical surprise. Failure of one component of this well-oiled machine would have endangered the entire mission, and failure is never an option for America's joint force. Those in the air over Caracas last night were willing to give their lives for those on the ground and in the helicopters. Let me talk a little bit about the preparation. After months of work by our intelligence teammates to find Maduro and understand how he moved, where he lived, where he traveled, what he ate, what he wore, what were his pets, in early December, our force was set pending a series of aligned events. Key was choosing the right day to minimize the potential for civilian harm and maximize the element of surprise, and minimize the harm to the indicted personnel so, as the President said, they could be brought to justice. And as the President said earlier today, weather in Venezuela is always a factor this time of the year. And over the weeks through Christmas and New Year's, the men and women of the United States military sat ready, patiently waiting for the right triggers to be met and the President to order us into action. Last night, the weather broke just enough, clearing a path that only the most skilled aviators in the world could maneuver through. Ocean, mountain, low cloud ceilings, but when tasked with a mission, this organization does not quit. At 10:46 p.m. Eastern Time last night, the President ordered the United States military to move forward with this mission. He said to us, and we appreciate it, Mr. President, good luck and Godspeed. And those words were transmitted to the entire joint force. Over the course of the night, aircraft began launching from 20 different bases on land and sea across the Western Hemisphere. In total, more than 150 aircraft, bombers, fighters, intelligence, reconnaissance, surveillance, rotary wing were in the air last night. Thousands and thousands of hours of experience were airborne. Our youngest crew member was 20, and our oldest crew member was 49, and there's simply no match for American military might. As the night began, the helicopters took off with the extraction force, which included law enforcement officers, and began their flight into Venezuela at 100 feet above the water. As they approached Venezuelan shores, the United States began layering different effects provided by Spacecom, Cybercom, and other members of the interagency to create a pathway. Overhead, those forces were protected by aircraft from the United States Marines, the United States Navy, the United States Air Force, and the Air National Guard. The force included F-22s, F-35s, F-18s, and other support aircraft, as well as numerous remotely piloted drones. As the force began to approach Caracas, the Joint Air Component began dismantling and disabling the air defense systems in Venezuela, employing weapons to ensure the safe passage of the helicopters into the target area. The goal of our air component is, was, and always will be to protect the helicopters and the ground force and get them to the target and get them home. As the force crossed the last point of high terrain where they'd been hiding in the clutter, we assessed that we had maintained totally the element of surprise. As the helicopter force ingressed towards the objective at low level, we arrived at Maduro's compound at 1:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 2:01 a.m. Caracas local time, and the apprehension force descended into Maduro's compound and moved with speed, precision, and discipline towards their objective, and isolated the area to ensure the safety and security of the ground force while apprehending the indicted persons. On arrival into the target area, the helicopters came under fire, and they replied with that fire with overwhelming force in self-defense. One of our aircraft was hit but remained flyable, and as the President said earlier today, all of our aircraft came home, and that aircraft remained flyable during the rest of the mission. As the operation unfolded at the compound, our air and ground intelligence teams provided real-time updates to the ground force, ensuring those forces could safely navigate the complex environment without unnecessary risk. The force remained protected by overhead tactical aviation. Maduro and his wife, both indicted, gave up and were taken into custody by the Department of Justice, assisted by our incredible U.S. military with professionalism and precision, with no loss of U.S. life. After securing the indicted persons, the force began to prep for departure. Helicopters were called in to exfiltrate the extraction force, while fighter aircraft and remotely piloted aircraft provided overhead coverage and suppressive fire. There were multiple self-defense engagements as the force began to withdraw out of Venezuela. The force successfully exfiltrated and returned to their afloat launch bases, and the force was over the water at 3:29 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with indicted persons on board. And both Maduro and his wife were embarked aboard the USS Uejima. In closing, what we've witnessed today is a powerful demonstration of America's joint force. We think, we develop, we train, we rehearse, we debrief, we rehearse again and again, not to get it right, but to ensure that jobs are to integrate combat power so when the order comes, we can deliver overwhelming force at the time and the place of our choosing against any foe anywhere in the world. I am immensely proud today of our joint force and filled with gratitude to represent them here today. There is simply no mission too difficult for these incredible professionals and the families that stand by them and support them. As we stand here this morning, our forces remain in the region at a high state of readiness, prepared to project power, defend themselves, and our interests in the region. This operation is a testament to the dedication and unwavering commitment to justice and our resolve to hold accountable those who threaten peace and stability. In closing, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to the brave men and women who executed this mission. Their courage and tireless commitment to our nation are what makes us strong. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and thank you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Well, I don't have much to add to what you've heard now, other than the following points. Nicolas Maduro was indicted in 2020 in the United States. He is not the legitimate president of Venezuela. That's not just us saying it. The first Trump administration, the Biden administration, the second Trump administration, none of those three recognized him. He's not recognized by the European Union. With a $50 million reward, which I guess we saved $50 million. And
you should make sure.
Yeah, exactly. But
don't let everybody claim it. Nobody deserves it but us.
But I want to be clear about one thing. Nicolas Maduro had multiple opportunities to avoid this. He was provided multiple very, very, very generous offers and chose instead to act like a wild man, chose instead to play around. And the result is what we saw tonight. The other message here is the following. You have a guy, like many people around the world, they like to play games. You have a guy who decides he's going to invite Iran into his country, is going to, do the confiscation of American oil companies, is going to flood our country with gang members, is going to take Americans prisoner and try to hold them for hostage and trade them like he was able to do with the Biden administration. Basically likes to play games all this time and thinks nothing's going to happen. And I hope what people now understand is that we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player.
Stop paying for Wi-Fi. Instabridge has given
Double
over
D
100
13. Are you still
million
there?
people
Anybody
free
still there?
Wi-Fi access. I love using
Make
the
sure they're all still awake.
We have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when tells you he's going to address a problem, he means it. He actions it. I can tell you, I've watched this process now for 14, 15 years, been around it. Everybody talks, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. When I get there, we're going to do this, we're going to take... This is a president of action. Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know. because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And, you know, if he says he's serious about something, he means it. And this is something that was a direct threat to the national interest of the United States, and the president addressed it. There's a president of peace, by the way. I told you what I just said earlier. This guy had multiple opportunities to find his way somewhere else and figure out another. He could have been living somewhere else right now very happy, but instead he wanted to play big boy. And so now, you know, he's got other sets of problems on his hands. And, but I think that the message here should be for the world. Look, the president doesn't go out looking for people to pick fights with. He's not, generally wants to get along with everybody. We'll talk and meet with anybody. But don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office, because it's not going to turn out well. And so I hope that, I guess that lesson was learned last night, and we hope it'll be instructive moving forward.
Mr. President.
Mr. President.
Mr. President. Mr. President. Mr. President.
You said that the U.S. is going to run Venezuela, so who's in power right now?
Well, we're going to be running it with a group, and we're going to make sure it's run properly. We're going to rebuild the oil infrastructure, which will cost billions of dollars. It'll be paid for by the oil companies directly. They will be reimbursed for what they're doing, but it's going to be paid. And we're going to get the oil flowing the way it should be. As you know, it was just a... We're going to run it properly. We're going to make sure the people of Venezuela are taken care of. We're going to make sure the people that were forced out of Venezuela by this thug are also taken care of.
Mr. President.
President, does the U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, you know, they always say boots on the ground. Oh, so we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it. But we're going to make sure that that country is run properly. We're not doing this in vain. This is a very dangerous attack. This is an attack that could have gone very, very badly. Could have gone very badly. We could have lost a lot of people last night. We could have lost a lot of dignity. We could have lost a lot of equipment. The equipment is less important, but we could have lost a lot. And we're going to make sure that this is proper. We're there now. We're ready to go again if we have to. We're going to run the country right. It's going to be run very judiciously, very fairly. It's going to make a lot of money. We're going to give money to the people. We're going to reimburse people that were taken advantage of. We're going to take care of everybody. It's very important. We couldn't let them get away with it. You know, they stole our oil. We built that whole industry there, and they just took it over like we were nothing. And we had a president that decided not to do anything about it. So we did something about it. We're late, but we did something about it. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, can you explain the exact mechanism by which you're going to run the country? Are you going to designate a U.S. official to coordinate?
It's all being done right now. We're designating people. We're talking to people. We're designating various people, and we're going to let you know who those people are.
What's the group you mentioned that would run Venezuela?
Well, it's largely going to be, for a period of time, the people that are standing right behind me. We're going to be running it. We're going to be bringing it back. It's a dead, you know, I talk about a dead country. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country. Now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're a country doing better than any country anywhere in the world. And it required leadership. Venezuela has a lot of bad people in there, a lot of bad people that shouldn't be leading. We're not going to take a chance that one of those people take over for Maduro. So you can look at, and others, we have fantastic people, including people in the military. So we're going to have a group of people running it until such time as it can be put back on track, make a lot of money for the people, and give people a great way of life, and also reimbursement for people in our country that were forced out of Venezuela.
Rubio would be...
You said earlier today that you weren't going to back Machado to come back and be the opposition leader in your Fox and Friends interview. And then you also mentioned the vice president of Venezuela. Are you going to work with the vice president of Venezuela, or how do you foresee the relationship
Well, I
going?
understand she was just sworn in, but she was, as you know, picked by Maduro. So Marco's working on that directly. Just had a conversation with her, and she's essentially willing to do what we think is necessary to make Venezuela great again. Very simple.
Mr. President, so Colombian President Gustavo Petro, in
today he said he's not concerned about anything happening to him in the aftermath of this operation. So just what your message is
Well,
about
he
that.
has cocaine mills. Stick by my first statement. He's making cocaine. They're sending it into the United States. So he does have to watch his
Mr. President.
Did you notify any members of Congress in advance?
Marco, do you want to talk about that? Because you were involved in it.
Sure. We called members of Congress immediately after. This was not the kind of mission that you can do congressional notification on. It was a trigger-based mission in which conditions had to be met night after night. We watched and monitored that for a number of days. So it's just simply not the kind of mission you can call people and say, hey, we may do this at some point in the next 15 days. But it's largely a law enforcement function. Remember, at the end of the day, at its core, this was an arrest of 2 indicted fugitives of American justice, and the Department of War supported the Department of Justice in that job. Now, there are broader policy implications here, but it's just not the kind of mission that you can pre-notify because it endangers the mission.
One thing to that. Congress has a tendency to leak.
That's right.
This would not be good. If they leaked, General, I think it would have been maybe a very different result. But I have to say, they knew we were coming at some point, you know. A lot of ships out there, they sort of knew we were coming. But Congress will leak, and we don't want leakers.
Mr. President, you were one of the only people to watch this all play out live. What was Maduro doing when the U.S. forces entered what I assume would be his home? And also, was there any point where the U.S. was considering if Maduro pushed back or resisted killing Maduro?
It could have happened. It could have happened. He was trying to get into a safe place. You know, the safe place is all steel. And he wasn't able to make it to the door because our guys were so fast. They went through the opposition so fast. And there was a lot of opposition. You know, people were wondering, do we get them by surprise? Sort of surprised, but they were waiting for something. It was a lot of opposition. There was a lot of gunfire. You saw some of it today. But he was trying to get to a safe place, which wasn't safe because we would have had the door blown up in about 47 seconds, they say on average, regardless of how thick the steel was. It was a very thick door. It was a very heavy door, but he was unable to get to that door. He made it to the door. He was unable to close it.
So where is Maduro going to be?
Go ahead, finish.
Where is Maduro going to be in the time being right now? Do you know his exact
Well,
whereabouts?
eventually, ultimately, in the near future, he's going to be brought to New York.
And where is he going to be held? Where is he going to be held in New York? Do you know?
That's going to be up to the officials that do these things.
Mr. President, the U.S. has something of a mixed track record of ousting dictators without necessarily a plan for what comes afterwards. Did that weigh on your decision?
Well, that's why we had different presidents, but with me, that's not true. With me, we've had a perfect track record of winning. We win a lot, and we win. If you look at Soleimani, you look at al-Baghdadi, you look at the Midnight Hammer. Midnight Hammer was incredible. Right now, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. We have essentially peace in the Middle East because of that. If we weren't successful with Midnight Hammer, you wouldn't have peace in the Middle East. So, and only victories. You've had no losses yet.
Mr. President, can you? How long do you expect the U.S. to run Venezuela, and how soon do you want the Venezuelan people to hold elections?
So I'd like to do it quickly, but it takes a period of time. You know, we're rebuilding. We have to rebuild their whole infrastructure. The infrastructure is rotted. It's actually very dangerous. It's blow-up territory. Oil is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing to take out of the ground. It can kill a lot of people. It has killed a lot of people doing just that. The infrastructure is old. It's rotted. Much of it is stuff that we put there 25 years ago, and we're going to be replacing it. And we're going to take a lot of money out so that we can take care of the country.
Mr. President, China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when it comes to the oil and drugs?
And Russia, Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to. In other words, we'll be selling oil probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now, but I would say many more will come.
Mr.
President, are you saying that?
Mr. President, thank you. What is your message to the people of Venezuela today? Of course, the civilian population specifically, they have a lot of questions. What is your message to the people of Venezuela?
That you're going to have peace, justice. You're going to have some of the riches that you should have had for a long period of time. It was stolen from you. But you're going to have peace, and you're going to have safety. You're going to have justice. You're going to have a country. You're going to have a real country. You're going to have potentially a great country. You know, if you go back 20 years, maybe even a little longer ago, that was a great country, and they destroyed it. Remember I said that if we lose this election, the United States will be Venezuela on steroids. That's what would have happened. Had we lost the election, 2024 election, we suffered so badly. When you look at the border from 2020, what they did, what Joe Biden administration did to our country should never be forgotten. But if we had to go through another year of that, we would be exactly where Venezuela was in terms of, I used to say, if they win, we're going to be Venezuela on steroids, and that's what would have happened.
President, thank you. Are you saying that Secretary Hegseth and Rubio are going to be running Venezuela, and will you be sending in U.S. military troops to provide?
They're going to be a team that's working with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we have Venezuela right. Because for us to just leave, who's going to take over? I mean, there is nobody to take over. You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro. And right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was with Marco, and she said, "We'll do whatever you need." I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice. We're going to have this done right. We're not going to just do this with Maduro, then leave like everybody else, leave and say, you know, let it go to hell. If we just left, it has zero chance of ever coming back. We'll run it properly. We'll run it professionally. We'll have the greatest oil companies in the world going and invest billions and billions of dollars and take out money, use that money in Venezuela. And the biggest beneficiary are going to be the people of Venezuela. And also, I can't stress this strongly enough, the people that got thrown out of Venezuela that are now in the United States, and frankly, some want to stay, and some probably want to go back. Yeah.
So, Mr. President, what's being done to protect Americans in the country, and were any of the detained Americans
Well, right now they're very
arrested?
protected because nobody's going to mess with us. They're very protected. The people of, and we let them know that you better not touch one of them.
Are you concerned that bad elements of the Maduro regime will remain in place?
Well, we know who they are. We're on them, and they're acting much differently now than they would have acted 2 days ago.
And what can you say about
behind you, please.
Mr. President, why is running a country in South America America first?
Well, I think it is because we want to surround ourselves with good neighbors. We want to surround ourselves with stability. We want to surround ourselves with energy. We have tremendous energy in that country. It's very important that we protect it. Sure we can protect it. Yes, sir. Please, go ahead.
Yeah, is there a message here for Cuba and Diaz-Canel?
Well, Cuba's an interesting case. Cuba is, not doing very well right now. That system has not been a very good one for Cuba. The people there have suffered for many, many years. And I think Cuba is going to be something we'll end up talking about because Cuba is a failing nation right now, very badly failing nation. And we want to help the people. It's very similar in the sense that we want to help the people in Cuba, but we want to also help the people that were forced out of Cuba and living in this country. Do you want to say something about that, Marco, please?
Well, I mean, I just gave you a statement a few minutes ago about, when the president speaks, you should take him seriously. Suffice it to say, Cuba is a disaster. It's run by incompetent, senile men, and in some cases, not senile, but incompetent nonetheless. It has no economy. It's in total collapse. And by the way, they were, all the guards that helped protect Maduro, this is well known, their whole spy agency, all that were full of Cubans. I mean, it's amazing. This poor island took over Venezuela in some cases. One of the biggest problems the Venezuelans have is they have to declare independence from Cuba. They tried to basically colonize it from a security standpoint. So, yeah, look, if I lived in Havana and I was in the government, I'd be concerned, at least a little bit.
Are you cutting off the oil flow to Cuba from Venezuela?
Well, the president already announced a week ago that anything that's sanctioned oil, it's not going to be allowed to get there. So that's an
The answer is yes.
Mr. President,
is the U.S. aware of the location of opposition leader Machado, and have you been in contact with her?
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
Mr. President, on Monday.
Oh, I think it would be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within, or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect.
Mr. President, is it possible that the U.S. ends up administrating Venezuela for years?
Well, it won't cost us anything because the money coming out of the ground is very substantial, so it's not going to cost us anything.
So the U.S. isn't going to dedicate money to...
Well, we want safety there. We want to be surrounded by countries that aren't housing all of our enemies all over the world. That's what was happening, and you don't want to have that. But we're going to be rebuilding, and we're not spending money. The oil companies are going to go in. They're going to spend money. We're going to take back the oil that, frankly, we should have taken back a long time ago. A lot of money is coming out of the ground. We're going to get reimbursed for all of that. We're going to get reimbursed for everything that we spend. So it's going to be a very important. This is a very big evening that took place last night. We have to be surrounded by safe, secure countries, and we also have to have energy. Very important. We have to have energy that's real energy, not where they're getting 4% and 5% of the energy out of the ground. You take a look, it was such a disaster. So what's going to happen with Venezuela, I think, over the next period of a year is going to be a great thing. And the people of Venezuela will be the biggest beneficiaries.
Mr. President,
Mr. President, thank you. What did you last speak to Maduro about when you spoke? And is the U.S.
Well, I don't want to get
at war
into
with
the
Venezuela?
conversations, but I did have conversations.
Right here.
Is there any patriots here? Is Double D here? If you're here, say something.
You gotta surrender. And I actually thought he was pretty close to doing so, but now he wished he did, yeah.
Mr. President, can you explain, you said that Maduro is responsible for drug trafficking. You recently pardoned the former president of Honduras who was convicted of many drug trafficking. Can you explain how these two situations are different? And would you ever pardon Maduro?
I endorsed, as you know, the winning president, the man who won in Honduras. I endorsed the man who won in Chile. I endorsed the man who won in Argentina. And we are doing very well with that whole group. What the man that I pardoned was, if you could equate it to us, he was treated like the Biden administration treated a man named Trump. That didn't work out too well for them. This was a man who was persecuted very unfairly. He was the head of the country. He was persecuted very unfairly. And there are a number of them. And we felt that it was a very unfair situation that happened to him. He's also a party member of the man who won. So obviously the people liked what I did. And one of the reasons that was done is because of the fact that the party in power felt very strongly that that man was treated very badly. I studied it very quickly, and then I studied it in great detail. I went to a lot of the people standing treated very badly. That's why I gave him a pardon.
Mr. President, you referenced boots on the ground earlier. Can you just sort of button this up? Do you envision the U.S. military having a presence in Venezuela as the U.S. runs that country?
No, we're going to have presence in Venezuela as it pertains to oil, because we have to have, we're sending our expertise in. So you may need something, not very much. But no, we're going to be taking out a tremendous amount of wealth out of the ground. And that wealth is going to the people of Venezuela and people from outside of Venezuela that used to be in Venezuela. And it goes also to the United States of America in the form of reimbursement for the damages caused us by that country. So I want to thank you all very much. Thank you. Do you have one? Yes, please. You were so nice before. I'm going to give you the final question. Go
Thank you,
ahead.
Mr.
Unless
President.
it's a bad question, in which case I'll go one. It's about
It's about Putin, if you want
about
to.
Putin. Well,
Okay.
it's always nice
You had a
to
phone.
talk about Putin.
You had a phone call with him on Monday. Did he talk at all about Maduro? Did y'all talk about this?
No, we didn't.
And
We
then-
never spoke about Maduro.
Are you mad at him right now? I mean, there's this
I'm not
intelligence.
thrilled with Putin. I'm not thrilled with Putin. He's killing too many people.
There was that
I
intelligence.
thought that would be so. I settled 8 1/4 war. You know what the 1/4 was? Thailand and Cambodia. I did it again. They broke out, and I did it in about 5 hours. and I settled it. I'm giving myself 1 quarter, so I'm up to now 8 1/4. In other words, I settled the war, but then they broke out. They had a pretty bad breakout over the last 4 days. I got them to go back to peace, so I only give 1 quarter. I thought the easiest one would be. It's not, and they both have done some pretty bad things. And look, that's Biden's war. That's not my war. But I want to stop the lives. Did you see where last month 30,000? It was 27,000 the month before. 30,000, mostly soldiers, were killed this last month. 30,000. I want to stop that. You know, I got NATO to pay 5% instead of the 2% that they weren't paying. They weren't paying 2, now they pay 5. And we send them a lot of munitions, we send them a lot of things, missiles and various other things, a lot. And they pay. The United States is not losing money. We're probably making money on that. It's the last thing I care about. I just want to stop all those people. We're losing 25, 30,000 human beings that come from 2 places that are very far away. But if I can stop, because it's something I've been pretty good at doing, deals, I guess. It's all a deal. Life is a big deal. But if I can stop that war and stop 30,000 young people, in addition to the fact that people are being killed in Kiev, people are being killed in other cities, you know, a much smaller number, but they're being killed, viciously killed. So I'm not happy about it. I thought that would be something that would get solved. We have Mr. Witkoff here. I think that we're making. If I were president, it would have never happened. Putin says it. Everybody says it. If I were president, that would have never happened. But I inherited that war. That was came into the situation, and it's a mess. And I will say this. I watched an operation last night that was so precise, that was so brilliant. I mean, it was incredible. If we had our people, like this general, and our people involved, that war would not have gone on very long, that I can tell you.
You told me
that war, to use an old term, that war has become a bloodbath, and we wanted to get some.
Concerned a rogue Venezuelan general take over the country.
Can you talk about your conversation with the vice president?
Here comes Brody the Wonder Dog. He's got speed through the neutral zone. Falls on the fucking backhand, scores, Brody!
Breaking news. This is crazy and terrifying, folks. ISIS arrested in Charlotte, North Carolina. This guy right here, 18-year-old Christian Sturdivant, pled allegiance to ISIS, and he got busted by the FBI. He was planning to do the Charlotte area. He was going to mass stab and use a hammer to attack people at a grocery store. Charlotte, North Carolina. The FBI speaks about this guy. Who in the heck is this 18-year-old? He's only 18. This is insane. Check it out.
Good morning. Happy New Year. And it is a Happy New Year, although it came very close to not being such a Happy New Year for a lot of people this year. I'm here to announce, in partnership with the Mint Hill Police Department and the FBI, that we have foiled a terrorist attack that was planned to take place on New Year's Eve in Mint Hill, North Carolina. Now, New Year's Eve, we all know, is a wonderful time where we all celebrate the past year, we look forward to and plan the next year, and everyone deserves to do that, to celebrate the new year without being concerned about their personal safety. And thanks to the law enforcement that stands with me today and others, we are fortunate that people can do that. The FBI, the Mint Hill Police Department, the New York Police Department worked around the clock on this matter, not just building a case for us, but surveilling the subject and making sure the public was safe at every moment, including Christmas Day. They worked around the clock on this, and I very much appreciate it. The defendant here lived in Mint Hill. The planned attack was to take place in Mint Hill. And I want to thank Chief Joe Hatley of the Mint Hill Police Department for being with with me here today and for your work over the holidays, Chief. I really appreciate it. I'm sure you know Jim Barnacle by now. He's the special agent in charge of the FBI for North Carolina. The FBI worked tirelessly on this case, and I can't thank you enough for that. FBI agents spent their Christmas Day surveilling a subject so that families in Charlotte and Mint Hill and Western North Carolina could spend their day celebrating with their families, and I'm very thankful for that. That is true public service. If you see a police officer or an FBI agent, please thank them for spending their holidays on this so that we all can spend our holidays with our families. I also want to thank the prosecutors in my office who also worked over the holidays getting a search warrant and an arrest warrant and making sure that the public was safe and that this terrorist attack was foiled. The defendant here is an 18-year-old named Christian Sturdivant. He has been planning this attack for about a year, but he's been planning an attack for far longer than that. He was planning this attack in support of ISIS, and we have charged him with attempting to provide material support to a foreign terrorist organization, that organization being, of course, ISIS. Now, this is still very much an active investigation. We had to act quickly here to protect the public, so we are light on details, but we'll tell you as much as we can, and Mr. Barnacle will probably tell you more than I will about those charges, but I thought I would give you an overview of what's in the federal complaint and the charges that we charged. So Mr. Sturdivant started on the internet. He started reading ISIS material, started going to ISIS websites, making TikTok videos, and eventually reached out to what he thought was a member of ISIS. In reality, was an undercover agent with NYPD in New York. He pledged his allegiance to ISIS with that undercover agent, and he disclosed his plans to, quote, do jihad soon. He then met a second undercover with the FBI, who he also thought was an ISIS participant, and he started to be very specific with his plans. He talked with that undercover agent, again, who he thought was ISIS. He talked about where he was planning to do this attack, which was at a grocery store and a fast food restaurant in Mint Hill, places that we go every day and don't think that we may be harmed. He talked about what means he would use to kill innocent people. He said he was going to wear a Kevlar vest and attack people with knives and hammers. And of course, he talked about when he was going to carry out this attack, which was New Year's Eve. A time when American life is on full display, right? We're all out there in crowds celebrating all that has happened this year, all that is to come, that we are so proud of. And that is when he planned his attack to attack that American way of life. The FBI executed a search warrant at his home, and they found the instrumentalities of the attack. They found hammers and knives hidden under his bed. They found notes where he planned his attack and detailed his attack and plans for how he was going to carry out this attack. It was a very well-planned, thoughtful attack that he had planned and that was fortunately foiled here. He was preparing for jihad, and innocent people were going to die. And we're very, very fortunate they did not. But the fact that along the way, in this extensive planning of this attack, he encountered not one, but two very good and very safe. Because law enforcement is out there every day, and we know they have a lot to do. But they have people out there making sure that as people plan these terrorist attacks, they have stops so they find it. And they did find it here. And on Christmas, while we were all opening presents, they were sitting in a driveway making sure that the public was safe. And we're very, very appreciative of that. Mr. Sturdivant was arrested on New Year's Eve, the day he planned his attack. Of course, it did not become public today. It has been under seal until today. He made his initial appearance in federal court this morning, about an hour ago. And this case is now moving through the judicial process. So he will have a preliminary hearing after that and a detention hearing. And of course, we will seek that he remain detained, but that's up to a federal judge on that issue. He faces a statutory maximum sentence of 20 years. But as I always tell you, every individual defendant gets a sentencing hearing where a judge takes into account a host of factors under the United States sentencing guidelines. They look at that individual defendant. The judge, he or she, looks at that individual defendant and makes a decision on sentencing. So we don't know what the ultimate sentence will be here. Originally, I think it is notable, as part of their efforts, the FBI took Mr. Sturdivant to a state magistrate judge to try to have him involuntarily committed. And that was because he had threatened not only other people's lives, but in the process said that he planned to die by a policeman shooting him. So he had threatened other people's lives and self-harm. But the state magistrate judge denied involuntary commitment. Fortunately, the FBI did not give up then and continued to build a federal case and get the evidence they needed to charge him and detain him and keep everyone safe on New Year's Eve. And I'm very, very thankful for that because countless lives were saved here. On New Year's Eve, everyone is at the grocery store. We're all buying the things we need to celebrate, and we could have had a significant loss of life, a significant injury here. So we will be here at the federal level dedicated to making sure the public is safe, like we were in this case. And I know that there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that's never public for investigative reasons, and it's very it brings me satisfaction to be able to tell the public what law enforcement is doing when you don't know it, and what's going on behind the scenes to keep everyone safe. So with that, I will turn it over to Special Agent in Charge Barnacle, who can tell you a little bit more about the details.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson, and thank you, Chief Hatley from the Mint Hill Police Department for your partnership in this investigation. My name is James Barnacle. I am the Special Agent in charge of the FBI here in North Carolina. Christian Sturtevant pledged his loyalty to ISIS and committed himself to killing Americans on New Year's Eve. This investigation unfolded quickly. From the moment the FBI was notified of a potential threat of a terrorist-inspired attack in North Carolina, we went all hands on deck. We assessed the credibility of the threat. The investigation lasted about 2 weeks, included numerous investigative techniques, partnerships with law enforcement agencies, and cooperation from the American public. This Christmas, the FBI and our partners worked to protect the American people. We did not let up until Sturtevant was safely in handcuffs. FBI special agents arrested him on December 31st as he was being released from a local medical facility. The evidence response team conducted a search, an authorized search, at his home and on his cellular phone. What we found was a manifesto, which the federal complaint alleges contained detailed plans to execute a massacre on New Year's Eve as people shop for the holidays. Without the swift action of the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, New York City Police Department, the Mint Hill Police Department, and our partners at the United States Attorney's Office for the Western District of North Carolina, we could be announcing a national tragedy. Instead, a terrorist attack was thwarted. Give a little background on Sturtevant. He's a U.S. citizen. He turned 18 in December of 2025. The JTTF collected evidence showing he turned his back on his country and his fellow citizens by pledging allegiance to ISIS with the intent of becoming a martyr. We allege Sturtevant was willing to sacrifice himself by committing a terrorist attack using knives and a hammer to support the murder, torture, and extreme violence that ISIS represents. We didn't just learn about him a few weeks ago. Sturtevant first came to the FBI's radar in January of 2022 when he was still a juvenile. He was in contact via social media with an unidentified ISIS member overseas. Sturtevant received direction from this unidentified ISIS member to dress in all black, knock on people's doors, and attack them with a hammer. In fact, Sturtevant did dress in all black. He left his house with a hammer, and fortunately, his family stepped in. Sturtevant, no charges were filed at that time. He was referred for psychological care, and he underwent psychological care, of which I don't know the details. The FBI was told he no longer had access to social media. On December 18th, a week prior to Christmas, the Charlotte field office learned it wasn't true, that he was now back on social media. After several FBI offices around this country and the New York Police Department alerted the Charlotte JTTF of a TikTok account, username Abu Bakr al-Amerki, who made multiple posts in support of ISIS. Sturtevant was identified as the account holder. And with federal search warrants, the FBI obtained his previous posts to assess the extent of threats to the homeland. But according to the complaint, on or about December 12th, Sturtevant began communicating with an individual on multiple. To Sturtevant, he was talking to a government online covert employee. Within just a few days, Sturtevant direct messaged the online covert employee with a picture of 2 hammers and a knife. The message was significant since in recent years, an ISIS propaganda magazine promoted the use of knives to conduct terrorist attacks in Western countries. The same ISIS magazine which suggested using vehicles to ram crowds, like the terrorist attack last year on New Year's Day on Bourbon Street. The conversations between the undercover employee and Sturtevant escalated further. Sturtevant allegedly sent a voice recording pledging Bayat, a loyalty oath to ISIS. And on December 20th, the direct messaging allegedly showed Sturtevant asking for help getting firearms, specifically weapons, guns, to carry out the terrorist attack at a food market here in Charlotte area. Thankfully, that did not occur. This investigation was conducted by several FBI field offices, the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, which includes the following members: the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, the Matthews Police Department, the Monroe Police Department, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the United States Customs and Border Protection, the Federal Air Marshal Service, Homeland Security Investigations, Internal Revenue Service, IRS-CI, the United States Postal Inspection Service, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Also, the NYPD, the FBI New York JTTF, the FBI Columbia Division, and the Mint Hill Police Department were instrumental in thwarting this attack. And of course, alongside our partners at the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Western District of North Carolina, and the Department of Justice. This investigation highlights the very real threat posed by people who self-radicalize online and are inspired by jihadist ideologies espoused by foreign terrorist organizations. They seek to attack soft targets with easily accessible weapons and with little to no warning. To further complicate this threat, we have seen that most successful attackers radicalize in a time span of between 1 and 4 years, and they typically mobilize to act in less than 3 months. The FBI continues to work tirelessly to combat the threats of terrorism for the American people every day. That our partnerships are not limited to just law enforcement agencies. We rely on the communities we serve and encourage the public to contact law enforcement when they see or hear something that doesn't seem right. I also have this personal message. If your child, relative, friend, or neighbor is sliding into a dangerous ideology, you'll be the first to see it. And together we can stop it. The threats we face are bigger than any one law enforcement or intelligence agency, requiring everyone who hears this message to work together to keep people safe. I want to thank our members of the Joint Terrorism Task Force that sit over here today for their diligent effort. We spoke, I can't tell you the number of hours, and this is not an attaboy to the FBI or our partners. They worked nonstop for about 14 days, 24/7, digging through everything we had and keeping surveillance on this subject so we could intervene if he were to potentially attack. Through Christmas Eve, every single day, all weekend. So thank you for your commitment to keeping America safe. With that, turn it over to Mr. Ferguson for any questions you may have.
Well, thank you. And let me reiterate my thanks to the Joint Terrorism Task Force, to the Mint Hill Police Department, and of course to the prosecutors in my office who worked on this. So, Jennifer, yeah.
Can you clarify where the planned attacks in Mint Hill, like which grocery store and which restaurant this was expected to take place at?
I don't believe it's public yet which grocery store and which fast food restaurant. I can tell you they were in Mint Hill. And as the investigation moves forward, I'm sure that will become public, but it's not at this point. It's on still under investigation.
One more follow-up.
Sure, of course.
Make sure I understood that correctly. Did you say that the arrest took place after he received medical attention? Did I hear that correctly?
No. So the FBI went to a state magistrate, and it was denied by the state magistrate.
Thank
Whether he got medical attention after that, I don't know. Yes, Jim.
Denied.
We were not involved in the state court hearing. Obviously, we deal in federal court here. From what I understand, it was a very short hearing, and I don't know of any reasoning given. Yeah, that was Monday night.
Late Monday night. Or Mecklenburg County?
In
Charlotte, or?
Mecklenburg County, correct. Hunter, yeah.
I'm from the Channel 9. Following up on that, Burger King is listed in the actual document with a grocery store nearby. The only grocery store nearby is Harris Teeter. Is that confirming it?
So the subject worked at Burger King. There, I believe, are a number of grocery stores within the vicinity, and we're not quite there on the exact plan of his attack, but you're on the right path.
Okay, and was this a lone wolf attack, or was there any connection to any other plots that have been foiled across the country here recently? Yeah,
that's a great question, and this subject was working alone, we believe, at this stage in the investigation, but what's interesting about that is he didn't think he was working alone. He had contacted two different members that he thought were ISIS and working with him, obtaining firearms for him. They happened to be undercover agents, so he was working alone, but it wasn't his intention to work alone. So, yeah, Katie.
Russ Coombs of WBTV. You mentioned the grandfather had tried to prevent and posts on social media. Did they know anything about his recent planned attacks at all from the investigation?
I don't have any indication the grandparents were aware of the social media posts. The home, secured the hammers, tried to make sure that Mr. Sturdivant did not have them, and yet when we executed the search warrant, they were found under his bed. Thank you. Jen.
Just wondering if the grandparents are going to be facing anything or if they're cooperating with you on this. Obviously, they knew something was up, but did they do enough to do anything?
That's a great question. The grandparents have been interviewed, and our investigation's ongoing, and we'll see where it goes. But right now, and especially in the very urgent part of this, we've been focused on Mr. Sturdivant. Hunter, yeah.
In here before that 2022, where he went out to try to stab neighbors, and his grandfather stopped him, it said that before that he had pledged allegiance to ISIS. Is there any reason why he wasn't charged? I know he was psychologically examined, but why didn't he face any charges?
Yes, it's a great question, and that was, and I'll let you weigh in on this too. I'll note that he was a juvenile at that time. He was 14, and I do think we're very fortunate he was 18 now, because it makes it a whole lot easier to bring charges. I think you had something to add.
No, I think that covers it.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, Diane.
Sorry, just following up on that too. Was that something known at the time in 2022 that he was trying to stab or kill a neighbor, or was that determined at a later investigation?
No. The FBI opened an investigation into Mr. Sturdivant in January of 2022. And we conducted a logical investigation. The case agents actually are sitting here today. And these same case agents picked up the investigation a couple weeks ago.
Are you all considering any other charges as well?
We're always considering additional charges. And so in this case in particular, because this is a very early and an ongoing investigation, we are certainly investigating and looking at other charges, whether that's a firearm charge or some other charge. Right now, we feel confident we have this charge, which is attempted material support of ISIS, but we'll see how the investigation unfolds from here. Yeah, definitely. Hunter. Of course.
You would?
Certainly.
I mean, we see this in parts of our country, but you never think it's your own city. This is Mint Hill that is now a thwarted ISIS terrorist attack. What are your thoughts on all of this?
Truly, I believe that's everyone's famous last words. It's never going to happen here. It will never. That can't be my neighbor. It can happen anywhere.
Yeah, Diane.
I know that he spoke with two undercover agents. Did he actually ever have any interactions, do we know of, with actual members of ISIS or terrorists or anything like that?
He was a prolific poster in social media, and he also went into various social media chat rooms and engaged with other people. We are leaving no stone unturned here. Our investigation is not over at all. We are looking to find out if there are any associates, if there are any friends, if there are any people he were working with, whether it's domestically here in the United States or overseas. We have ruled out additional threats from him in the international partners for potential other avenues of investigation.
Russ, we just saw that thwarted attack in Seattle as well. Should we be concerned about this becoming a persistent problem in the Western District of North Carolina?
I sure hope not. I mean, I think that we should feel comfort that the FBI was there and that this defendant not only encountered one undercover agent, but encountered two, one with NYPD and one with the FBI. Which I think shows you what's going on behind the scenes to protect the public. Of course, everyone should be vigilant. We all know the adage, if you see something, say something, which seems kind of ridiculous at this point, but it remains true. It's little things that sometimes bring these things to the attention of law enforcement, so I hope people will do that. And like Mr. Barnacle said, in situations like this, it's really family. It's family, and monitoring, especially your children's online presence, where this defendant was on TikTok in chat rooms communicating with people. So remain vigilant, but I think go to sleep feeling safe at night because law enforcement is there doing their job.
And just one more follow-up question. Historically, we have seen this targeting New Year's Eve events like we saw on Bourbon Street. We just finished the Truist Field celebrations. Do we know why he was targeting the grocery store chain at all, or is that not public yet?
We don't know why. I can tell you from my view, New Year's Eve is where the American way of life is on full display. We're celebrating how wonderful it is to be here and all that this country has given us. And I think for a terrorist, that is a ripe opportunity to attack that way of life.
Yeah, we do have some intelligence that he was looking at a grocery store because there would be a lot of people there. He knew there would be a lot of people there, grocery shopping, which is why we said that in our remarks. He was looking for a high-profile place. There's a couple grocery stores in Mint Hill. He wasn't set on just one. He was looking at multiple, whichever one had the most people in it.
Yeah. Hey, Anna.
So you mentioned that he was arrested on New Year's Eve, correct?
Correct.
What was the, setup for, if the attack was planned to happen on New Year's Eve and he was arrested, then what was the setup there to prevent that?
So we had multiple plans in place to make sure he was not a free man on New Year's Eve and could not cause public harm. And so that included the seeking an involuntary hold for mental health purposes, which was denied. Ultimately, the arrest was made on New Year's Eve to make sure that he was safely behind bars on New Year's Eve. We did that by getting a criminal complaint from a magistrate judge late in the evening, a federal magistrate judge, and that's why it set up this process where that was under seal until today. He had his initial appearance. He will still get a preliminary hearing where he could put on evidence to say there was probable cause or not to detain him, and a detention hearing where a judge will decide if he should be detained pre-trial.
So did you believe that the attack was hours or days away? Was there any anticipation there?
So we were concerned surveillance on this subject all hours of night, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, time away from their families to make sure that the public was safe, and they were authorized to make an arrest if they needed to. If he were, if he were to leave the house with guns or knives or hammers, they were going to make a probable cause arrest. So at no point was the public in harm's way here. Yeah, Jen.
It was just the grandfather who stayed with at the residence?
No, there were other family members at the residence as well. There was a grandmother and I think some siblings and some other family there.
I don't know if his grandfather is a Christian minister in Charlotte. Is there any belief that his family members were also in danger of that, targeted or threatened?
I can tell you from his notes, he was targeting Jews, Christians, and LGBTQ individuals, and so you can infer from that that his family was in harm's way. I think that's a safe assumption, but it is an assumption. So, yeah, Hunter.
Special Agent Barnacle, I know you have been investigating, your office has been investigating him since 2022, but with this recent incident here, or thwarted attack, was it that undercover NYPD officer that really blew all of this up for this latest case and put him back on y'all's radar?
Yeah, so let me clarify. When we opened the case in January 2022, we conducted a logical mental health services, and he was no longer on social media. We closed our investigation, so he was off of our radar. In December, we had contact from FBI field offices two different offices, well, three FBI field offices, as well as the NYPD undercover, kind of simultaneous. I'm not sure which came in first, but certainly the NYPD undercover had the most information, the most facts. I think one of our FBI offices came in first. We got that information. We started working it. We opened an investigation. But once we started talking to NYPD and the New York JTTF, we went full steam ahead. And this is a very compressed timeline. I want to say the FBI Washington field office reached out to us at night, and then the following morning we had that call with NYPD.
Can you just speak to what you came at, how difficult this is to pull this off and avoid an attack like this?
Well, the FBI deals with threats every single day. Here in North Carolina, we get hundreds of viable or credible threats to life. And so our agents are really good at mitigating those threats, figuring out if they're credible and if the subject is capable of carrying out that threat. And so we go out, we do an investigation, a logical investigation. We often work with local police departments, and we go out and interview the person that posted different things. This one was different because this one was not only credible, but investigation revealed that the subject was capable of executing this attack. He was training, he was doing push-ups, calisthenics, fitness. He had stolen both of those knives. He hid them in his residence, his and weapons from him. He hid them. He wrote a manifest. He stole 2 hammers out of the storage shed and hid them in his house. He reached out to an undercover and requested guns. So all the different things are lining up that, when your hair stands up on the back of your neck, that's not enough to charge. We still got to conduct an investigation. We still have to work with the U.S. attorney and prosecutors, and we still have to have a federal judge agree that there's probable cause to charge. These things are hard to do, but this is what we do.
Chief, I have a question for you, if you don't mind. What is your message to the people of Mid-Health? And again, you guys have been going through a lot within your own department, but what is your message to the community of Mid-Health?
Very clear, clean and simple. Without the collaborative efforts with all the federal, local agency involved, this clearly would have happened. Rest assured that even while you're asleep, law enforcement is still proactively working to keep you safe. I can't put it any clearer than that.
Any additional questions?
Yeah.
So he was currently working at the Burger King?
Yes.
From your knowledge, had you heard any type of concerns from employees or anyone in that area where he worked? Were there any type of red flags there?
Oh, he's going to prison for a long, long time here. Kudos to the FBI for actually stopping something before it happens. But this is the times we're living in, folks. And keep in mind, 1 year ago, or New Year's of 2025, ISIS did a terror attack in New Orleans. That Shamsuddin guy drove his truck through a crowd celebrating New Year's, Bourbon Street. And this guy said he's going to do it. He was going to do a New Year's attack in retaliation for what happened in Syria a few weeks ago that we covered in Syria, where the National Guard got ambushed and then the United States government retaliated and killed a bunch of ISIS. But it shows, folks, that ISIS exists. Now, this guy clearly looks like he's African American. Race, religion, creed, anybody in the United States could, get converted to Islam at any time, and it doesn't matter who you are, and join ISIS. Scary stuff, folks. We'll continue to monitor this case. I'll get his indictment complaints as they go through it. We'll follow through this. He needs to be sent to CCOT or somewhere. There's no rehabilitation for that. Let me know what you think. Sub to the channel, hit the notification button. Be careful, my friends. ISIS is out there. We will talk soon. JLR Investigates. Stay tuned.